So that would be where they do this, and they go on to the tunnel. It requires a change in direction, going into the opposite direction. So you have to handle it differently, and you have to let the dog know that they're not slicing it. So we commonly, it's some of it is our body language. So when we come in and we're doing a slice, we come in, we move this way, we drop our hand, we push, and we kind of move in this format, saying that we're going that direction. So if you need the dog to change their lead and move this direction, we have to give them the heads up that that is happening. So if you're here, you could do this with a switch is just a 180-degree turn away, but you're going to be doing it here, letting the dog land, and then telling the dog to switch. Now, if the dog truly understands the switch as being a change of lead, you would be okay with this. The dog would change their lead and turn this direction. But you have to see, did you see my body language be any different? So I was going here. The only thing different is instead of being here, where I'm keeping the dog nice and tight, I stayed back behind the jump, letting the dog land in front of me, and then you wait until they go past you to kind of switch them. So you have a tighter, you have a bigger loop here, why the dog, you want them to hit this third jump more square in the middle, not moving like this, so that they already know that they're going that direction. You can also do it with what I call a lap turn, meaning that your chest is already facing the new direction you want them to go. You send them, catch them with the new hands that you're going to be going onto. Unlike the switch where you're here and then as the dog passes you, you move into that second hand. This one you're pulling the dog this way, pulling them here, turning them that way into the tunnel. It's a little more clear for the dog where they're going to, and you force a lead change. So the lap turn, I call, my lap turn command is swing, meaning I want you to come this way, pull off, and go that way. And you can see she went, oh, I know what swing is. So swing. She comes over, goes away from me, and goes on. And so the dog understands those kind of moves to go this direction and helps with that. It really is helpful if a course, a chances course, where the dog is coming into you at a distance. So say they were coming from, they were had to send out, and your line is this line of jumps, and you sent to the tunnel, and then you needed to go to that green, and then the dog needed to go back out away from you. You could still switch them, but in particular, we have jumps behind us. If you are late, the dog could see that as a line because you're waiting for the dog to go past you, and they could just go that way instead of, so you can just call the dog here, turn them away, go that direction, and then your body is already here. Unlike the switch, where you're waiting, and then you find yourself kind of slightly behind the dog. So swing is not a absolute requirement to teach your dog, but I do find some novice dogs read it far better for the lead change than they do switches in the beginning. So we will talk the difference between swing and switch for young dogs in particular. So we're going to talk a little bit about the switch out. So the switch, I guess we should talk switch. Switch is a 180-degree turn away from you. It can be from this tunnel to this jump to that jump. So the dog is coming in and they have to turn away from you. So it's different. It could be a 180-degree turn away, or it could be as a part of a serpentine. So it's still the dog needs to move away from you. A lot of times, you do it with a rear cross. You send and you cross and you pick the dog back up. There are times, like if this was a chances line, that you would be on this side and you let the dog, and then you change the direction of them. So switch is a 180-degree turn away. Like our digga-digga or turn was 180 turn into you. The switch is 180-degree turn away. It's a sharp turn. So we have to talk a little bit about the difference between switch and switch out. So switch is 180-degree, tight turn away from you. The switch out is a turn away that is slighter, like 45, 90-degree turns away. More often that's what you see in trials, and that you would normally do that command more often. So here's our 180-degree, or I mean our switch out. Okay. So if the dog goes, make sure that I got this. Okay. All my demo dogs here. If the dog is coming from the purple to the black, to the pink, to the blue, to the purple, this is like a pinwheel on the outside. This is where you would like to have your switch out. The dog learns to come into here, you turn them away, and then you continue on that motion. Being able to be back here is beneficial because you don't have to go into that tight spot with the dog. You can have them here. Your body language is more open, and that's that switch out, out, and you continue on, and you can layer the outside of a pinwheel. So that's where your switch out comes into play, is when you have these light, like 90-degree or 45-degree turns away from you, and that's what you're going to commonly see in a lot of courses.